Hello, today I would like to talk about common problem that appears in Kubernetes. So we will see in command line what is going on here. I'm going to create a pod, but this time not with Nginx or Apache, but instead we are using Ubuntu and Alpine images, operating system Docker images. So kubectl run, and then we'll use Ubuntu or Alpine in the beginning and image equals Alpine. And we will also use Ubuntu. And then Ubuntu like that. And what is going on here? And if we will use the kubectl get pods to see the status, you can see the status on Ubuntu crash loopback off, but Alpine is completed, and it's better to use watch to observe. Name column ready 01, so it means there is no container running inside the pod. Status completed and restart 2. So what is going on? And Alpine was crash loopback of then Ubuntu, and each time it restarts, there is a crash loopback of error. So why actually we have this error, and I will try to explain this, but first of all, it's good to check in Google crash loopback of error. So here we go. And we have one simple definition here. Crash loopback off is a Kubernetes state that indicates a restart loop is happening in a pod. It's a common error message that occurs when a Kubernetes container fails to start up properly for some reason, then repeatedly crashes. And to be honest, I scrolled down a little and I just opened websites in new tabs, and I was looking for architecture phrase on every single website, and they do not mention it, and I will then explain what is going on here and why we have the error actually. So they are mentioning in most cases that there is a problem, resource overload, insufficient memory, errors with deploying Kubernetes, issue with third-party services, missing dependencies, change caused by recent updates, container failure due to port conflict. And the same here, configuration errors, resource constraint, dependency issues, application errors, and here common causes and misconfiguration, resource is not available, wrong command line arguments, bugs and exceptions, and memory limits, blah 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 blah, read-only file system, blah blah blah. Sorry, blah blah blah, the same article, but under a different IP address and domain name and different URL. So here is the explanation, blah 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 blah. I was trying to understand it and was reading it, and blah 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 blah. Crash loopback off, not ready, common causes, insufficient resources locked, file locked, database failed, reference setup error, config loading error, or misconfigurations, connection issues. And the same here, configuration, out of memory resources, 2 or more containers are configured to use the same port. The pods are attempting to connect to a file or database that is locked. The pods may be referencing non-existing resource of packages, general error deploying the software, any bugs, exception, command line arguments may be incorrect or missing, the liveness probes are not configured correctly, incorrectly specified permission, not enough permission, the file system or folder to pod. The pod is trying to write it to read-only, connection issues, incorrect environment variables are set, and blah 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 blah. And none, and you can really read a lot, and none of the article mentioned one simple thing. Let's go back to the command line. You need to understand one simple thing. In our case, what is the architecture of machine Kubernetes runs on? Hello, we are going to check it. uname-m. So ARC64. We have a Raspberry Pi CM4 I/O board with CM4 compute module. Okay. So in fact, Ubuntu and Alpine, they shouldn't work just because they are for AMD64. So summarizing, crash loopback of error occurs when there is a mismatch of AMD64 and ARM64 devices. So you need to use a Docker image that is multi-arch. Let's do this. So kubectl run, and we will use it Nginx Alpine, but I will call it multi-arch, just like that, and image, and it will be equals nginx alpine, and it's created. And if we will use watch kubectl get both, it's running. There is no problem, and we can even get into the machine. So we will try to get into this container multi-arch. So let's do this. kubectl exec, and then we can try to use help to understand few things. This one -i equals stdin equals 4, so it passes stdin to the container. Lovely. And this one also, stdin is a tty. So kubectl exec it, and then multi-arch, and now -- space and bin, and not bash because Alpine doesn't have bash, but sh or ash. I will use ash. cd bin ls, and you can see there is ash here and there is sh here. So okay, uname a in this case to see Linux multi-arch 6.121 kernel v8 plus, and you can see it's ARC64 Linux. So we are using multi-arch image on our host that is ARC64 in this case. Just I will get into the Raspberry Pi Worker 2 and Worker 1 and uname a. You can see it's using ARM, but much more convenient. ARC64 and uname a it's and m. It's ARC64. So not even ARM 8 or it's ARC64 based. So we are using ARM processors. So ARM64 devices. So that is something that you need to remember. And you can see it's sitting all the time in the bash, in the ash in this case, in the shell. So there was no restart. And you can see up and running, no restarts. Okay. So even if I was wondering something, so I will do this. I will cut yum and pod file, and I will learn about yum files later. And first of all, I will learn you how to use Vim and how to properly configure VMRC file, and then how to use Vim and with yum files. But I just decided that I will create a Ubuntu sleep. I will use Ubuntu image, and I will do the sleep, the command, and I will even set resources limit, memory, blah, blah, blah. Right? So let's run this. kubectl and apply -f and yum files and pod, just like that. We can apply the yum file, and it created a pod. And you can see because there is a kind pod, so it created it. And then we will use watch kubectl get pods, and you will see that Ubuntu sleep is also restarting. It's restarting. It has sleep, but it's restarting. So this is not our case. We need a container that is not restarting. We need a container that is running properly, that is running some service, that has the same architecture or is multi-arch eventually, like our host, like our master node, where the Kubernetes is running. And then there will be no issue and everything will be up and running correctly. And if you will wait a little bit longer, you will see that Ubuntu Sleep is running and then restarted and running and restarted and running. And it's completed, you can see, 0, 1, and running and restarted first time. Yeah, because it was waiting 60 seconds. So 10 seconds, 10, 11 seconds for, boot up and start it. And after that, I mean, for starting process, actually, for starting the container, about 10 seconds it takes. Just because of the policy in the Kubernetes, there is just 10 seconds defined. So it takes 10 seconds, and 10 plus 60, 70, after 70 seconds, it restarted. So this is something interesting, just because, yeah, okay, it's running, it's restarting, it's running. Yes, but this is not the case. Eventually, you can do something else, and eventually you can set the policy. So we will do this, and we will just run Ubuntu, but no restart. Ubuntu, and we will use image Ubuntu, but we can set the policy restart to never equals never, or on failure. So on failure, it restarts only when the pod is failed, actually, and never means that it will never restart. So we can try run Ubuntu. Okay, the Ubuntu so never restart. So no restart, just because the name should be unique. And okay, so watch kubectl get pod. Now what is going on with Ubuntu no restart? It's completed, but there is no container running inside. So not quite good option. Actually, you can use it, but to solve the problem. But this is not something that we are interested in. We need something that is running correctly, and in our case, multi-arch image is the solution for our problem. Right? So that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much and have a nice day or night. Take care. Bye bye.